So in this video on the opportunities functionality within Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Sales, we're going to cover off the pipeline view. Now, this is one in the series we've done specifically on opportunity related functionality. You can see links to others in the series below. Also, if you're going to suggested content ideas or you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Anyway, let's go into the system and show you what I mean. So I'm in the opportunities area at the moment. Specifically, I'm in an open opportunities view, and more specifically, I'm in the traditional read-only grid, which tends to be the way most people will view data in Dynamics. Now, I do have another option. I do have a number of different options actually. Instead of the read-only grid, I can click on Show As at the top here, and I have something called Pipeline View, and this is very much opportunity record specific. So if I'm going to click on this, now it doesn't change things alarmingly. We've still got the edit columns, edit filters, search bar there. However, we do now have this row of metrics across the top here, and we do have a button here. At the moment it's set to list, but I click on the drop down, I've got some other options there. I'm going to go into that in a minute. And then I do have an editable grid now instead of a read only grid. So you can see there's my estimated revenues. I could update those within the grid if you like. So one of the drawbacks of traditional opportunity management for salespeople who were used to doing their sales forecasts in Excel is that within the CRM system, you kind of had to open up the opportunity record, make the change, save it, go back to your list, find the next record, update it, etc. So there was some friction attached to all of that. So what we've got here is the ability to work very much as if we were in an Excel spreadsheet. I can go to the relevant cell and update it. So I've got a blank here in terms of the estimated close date for this particular record. If I just click on that and say, let's say end of September, I've changed it there. I've updated it within the view and it updates the underlying record. Now, there's another couple of sort of elements to this, if you like. Firstly, if I want to go to the main form itself, because bear in mind, if you on a read-only grid, you kind of double click on it, you go into the record, you double click on it here, you're editing it. I've got a little window here that says go to the main form, which I can do. I've also got some 3-dot options at the end of the field here. If I click on those, I can close this as won or close as lost. And then if I click on this field here, and I'll wait a second or two, there you go. So we've now got a view of the underlying record. Now I've got a little wand here, so that means I can customize that layout if I want to. So if I can change that, I could change that to a more compact header. If I wanted get rid of the extended width, I probably liked it as it was, but you've got those options. If you want to leave that, just click on the X at the top there. If you want to make some changes to the record, then you make changes and then save them. So it's a good way of having an editable grid while being able to look at the underlying record in more detail if we want to. So let's come out of that and let's go to this button here, which said list at the moment. I'm going to change this to combo. And when I change it to combo, it's effectively a combo, a combination of a visualization of the data. And we've got both a sales track and a sales funnel. Sorry, I'll go into the sales funnel in a minute. And at the bottom here, we've got the split screen. We've got that editable view below. And we obviously scroll through that if we wish to. Now, I quite like this deal tracker view. So basically it's reporting in 4 dimensions. So we've got the probability, so where it is on that axis from 0 to 100 gives us the probability. We've got a timeline, so we can see today is 28th of July. We can see that record was due to close on the 1st of the 7th. If I rest my cursor on that, by the way, it just gives me some summary information there. And then we can see these deals moving forward. Now, obviously, we've got the dimensions of probability, as I've said. We've got the dimensions of the estimated close date across the bottom here. We've got two other dimensions. The size of the circle indicates the size of the deal. And then the color coding, if you just scroll through, indicates what stage it's in. So whatever that is, I'm not very good at my colors actually, sort of orangey color, pinky orangey color, that's the qualify stage. Blue is the develop stage. Purple is the proposed stage. So within that one view, I've got sort of 4 dimensions to look at, so it's quite powerful in that respect. I've also got the ability, if I wish to select one of these. If I click on that, it does what it did before and pops the detail of the underlying record into the view, and I can scroll through that and update that if I want to. If I want to get rid of that, I can do so. If I want to customize the layout just as I did previously, I can click on what I guess is the magic wand to make that change. So if I come out of that, then I've got the other visualization called the sales funnel, which I don't think is quite as insightful. But what I can do on this, it's got a quick summary of number of records in that qualify stage, number of records in that develop stage and the value, and in the proposed stage. But if I click on one of those, let's click on the ones in the proposed stage, which says there's 3 opportunities. So if I click on that, it then drills down, and below it, it just displays those 3 opportunities. So again, quite a good way of filtering down the data. The additional button I've got here, so I said combo, I've got list combo, and then I've got a third one called edit metrics. Metrics, as I said, these fields that appear across the top here. Now I can go to edit metrics as in I as an individual user, not I as an administrator of the system. So it's something I can set up for myself. I can go to my edit metrics, and then I've got a list of the metrics that are displaying here. Now, if I want to move these around in terms of the order they appear in, I can drag and drop. If I don't want that, I can completely bin it. I can reset it to the default metrics later on. If I don't want lost amount to appear in my view, I can remove it. So I've got quite a lot of power in terms of how those metrics appear on the screen. The more exciting part, I guess, is I can create my own metric. So I've got this area at the top here says create a metric. So if I click on that, it's going to give me ask me for a name. So I'm going to call it rating. And actually what I'm going to do is I just want the total number of deals we've got with a hot rating. So actually let's call that hot rating. Forgive my slow typing. So we can call that hot rating. It's pointing to the opportunity entity by default, can't change that. But I can now select a field that I want to calculate on. So I'm going to say on the estimated deal revenue, it's asking me to specify an aggregation function. Effectively, what do I want? Do I want a count of them? Do I want an average, sum, min, max? I'm going to go for sum. So that's fine, but what I now need to do is just add a little bit of criteria here. And we're going to say, we're going to add a row. And we're going to say that, scroll down to rating on this view. We'll get there in the end. There we go, rating equals I'm just going too far there, that's why. Rating equals hot, and we're going to apply that. So it comes in without the box tick, so it's not appearing on the top there. I'll just click on hot rating, and that now appears in my metrics. So total of deals with a hot rating is 51,000. So that's a quick sort of tour through that pipeline view. I think it's quite a useful view, actually. It overcomes a lot of the issues that a salesperson might have if they're maintaining sort of pipeline and forecast data. It saves them having to go into the record. They can sort of update it within the screen, so that saves time. And I quite like the visualization of the data, particularly the deal tracker data. So I think that's quite powerful. It's just really helpful, I think, for a salesperson to be able to understand at a glance how their opportunities are progressing, and maybe sort of highlight to them the ones that need updating or working on. And then I think from a sales management function, to have that ability to analyze what a range of different forecasts on the same screen, I think is particularly powerful. Anyway, hopefully that's been a helpful introduction into the pipeline view. I'll say it's one of a number of videos we've done specifically on the opportunity functionality within Dynamics. You can see others in the series below. Also, if you've got any suggested content ideas or you need any help at Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Anyway, thanks very much for your time today, and hopefully see you again soon.